Hello everybody, welcome back to Lupus Fitness 333. My name is Angel. Today's topic is going to be meditation, okay? Now I know it's been a while, but I had to really think about this video because it's, even to me, it's crazy because of the stuff that I've been doing in practice for meditation. Now, again, even I think it's crazy, even though I'm the one experiencing it. But I'm going to first go through a step-by-step process for preparation, and then I'm going to go into what I experienced during the meditations, okay? Now, some would be consistent and some would completely derail from what I usually would experience, okay? All right, so let's get into the preparation. The first thing, I call it trance meditation because essentially you have to ignore everything around you. And that's a lot easier said than done. So that's number one. Number two, you do have a sphere of influence. This sphere, right? The sphere has to be free from any other influence that's not inanimate, okay? No objects. I mean, it could only be objects, but it can't be... Sorry, let me say that again. So you can't have any other human around you within this sphere of influence that you have, all right? So that's why meditation is best when you are alone, okay? That's why monks who practice daily would be in designated areas or be alone. There's group meditation and then there's solo meditation. This is for solo meditation, for you to get the best experience, okay? Now, I'd say it's about 10 feet. So you have a circle, a circumference of 10 feet, all right? It should be not 10 feet. The radius from where you're at to the edge of your sphere of influence should be 10 feet all around, okay? So, with that being said, get into a position. Now, the next thing is I like to put myself in a yoga pose throughout the whole experience. This way, my body is doing something, it's occupied, and I'm not worried about, accidentally putting myself in a, be free of any physical influence. Like if I'm going to be sitting down or I'm going to be holding a pose, I know nothing else is going to touch me, okay? That's the best way I can describe it. Okay, the next thing is focus on your breathing. Now, I want to get into more details about this because it's not just holding in your breath or breathing profoundly. It's more complex, okay? For me, right? My practice is 3 elements. It's not only the breath, but it's also focusing on your heartbeat. And then once you get them both in sync, right? Like, how do I explain this? When you're breathing deeply, you get to a point where you might even, how do I say this? You're desperately breathing in air, right? And then you're desperately pushing out. It's not a force. It's like you have to push out the carbon dioxide, right? When you're breathing out, you have to really push it and empty out your lungs. And then do the opposite when you're inhaling. You fill your lungs to the point where like you feel like they're gonna burst, all right? So you exhale as though you're trying to expunge every bit of air from your lungs. And then when you inhale, you try to do everything in your power, right, to push those lungs to their limit. You're really gonna push it, all right? I'm gonna put an image here, right? An image here of what's happening, all right? But the point is that once you get to that point, your mind is gonna start, if you have already closed it and you already chose your pose or your form that you're gonna be holding through the meditation, and you're alone and your sphere is not being interrupted by anything, you'll get to this point, all right? You'll start closing your eyes and you'll start to first, obviously, if you haven't done the previous training, right, which was going to the wall of fire, going through the obstacles of, how do I say, of deep-seated emotions, right? The ones that you haven't confronted, the ones that you haven't come to terms with, the ones that you haven't defeated are going to show up. Those two are going to show up. First, the wall of fire, and then whatever emotion you haven't tackled in your life. And if it's multiple that you haven't tackled in your life, then you're going to have a very, very long and possibly intense, overly intense meditation, all right? Trance meditation. Number 3. Now, once you've passed these two, for me, consistently, for me, you start getting visions. You start experiencing colors, you start experiencing patterns, and best of all is now your heart and your breath and your images or your mind should be one at this point. All right, once you've gotten past those 3 stages, besides the preparation, so it's prep, the 3 stages, and remember, each stage, the length of it depends. Sometimes if you're not ready, you won't go past a certain stage. You'll stay on either 1, 2, or 3. Once you're at 3, this is where things are no longer in your control. Now you've entered a state where it's living. It's a living, how do I say, the best way I could describe it, right, is like, you know how when we're on the phone and we're like swiping through videos on TikTok or Instagram or even on YouTube? Yeah, so in this case, you're not controlling what's being shown to you, all right? You're just seeing things. And these things mean something to you subconsciously, whether you know it or not. They're being shown to you in a specific order, at a specific frequency, and at a specific speed for you to have some kind of reaction to it. Now, in this stage, you're supposed to be accepting everything that you're seeing. Here's why. Because it's you. It's your subconscious talking to you and helping you get to wherever you need to get to. All right? Because you've already passed the other 3 stages, which is the wall of fire, which is pain. And then you go through the 2nd stage. Again, I'm reiterating everything so that nobody forgets how that works. Okay, the 2nd stage is whatever emotion that you have, psychological trauma or blockages or whatever is it that you want to call it. But this is where you have to confront those, how do I say, the feelings of that you haven't resolved, all right? Usually they're tagged to something that happened in your life. And the 3rd one, again, is where you start seeing your subconscious. That's what I call it, or what I also like to call it as the cosmos. This part is going to flash, is going to flicker, or sometimes it'll give you a living image that constantly flows and changes colors, or maybe even flashes at you and starts doing stuff. But at this point, it's going at the frequency of, how do I say, your heart. Okay, now when you start breathing in deeply, right, your heartbeat starts to race, and the images will go at the pace of your heartbeat. Okay, again, I'm gonna play something here to kind of give you an overall image of how you should look outside, externally, and then how you should look, or what you're supposed to see in your mind. But here's the problem again. The subconscious part, I'm gonna put it up here. The other part, the external image is gonna be down here. The internal image is gonna be here. Whatever is here, right? Whatever is here is personal to you, meaning it's uniquely yours. I can only give you something that I've experienced, but it won't be the same thing that you'll experience. Remember that. It's not going to be the same thing. Maybe in similarities due to the frequency, but everything else you're going to see here is yours. You should know what all of that means because it's from your subconscious. All right? It's the cosmos is communicating with you through your subconscious. All right? That's why the images have some form of effect on you. Okay? But again, if you're already at the third stage, you know this is you. You should not be afraid. In fact, if you do feel a little feared, you have to talk yourself out of it and remind yourself that this is you. This is the true energetic version of you, your soul. Okay? That is you. All right. Now, let's move on to the next point. You can talk to yourself in this point. All right? But you're not physically talking because physically you are asleep or in a state of trance. Okay? Your mind, on the other hand, can speak. This is where you have to reshape your identity. Okay? Your subconscious identity. You have to start speaking to it here. And it's got to be like a mantra, just like how the Hindu religion and any other religion that requires you to create a mantra or a saying or a prayer. You have to repeat it over and over and over and over until it becomes song. Then you realize that it's not the words. It's not the words. It's the song of the words. How you say it, how you repeat it. It creates a frequency. This frequency is then communicated to your subconscious, right? And then once you have that, right? Once you have that and you're speaking to it, it's gonna know, all right? And then it might change the image that you feel, that you see, all right? Feel, see, and experience, okay? All of this is happening while you're doing the mantra of what you're trying to change, okay? Now be careful, because what you're changing here, remember, your subconscious might take it literally. So you have to be careful in how you say it, and it has to be in a mantra, meaning it has to be direct, but also watch what you say. All right, think of this as a genie that's not evil, but will give you what you want in time. Okay, it'll be through time. Again, through time. For this thing doesn't register time like we do, because we experience it physically. This thing doesn't. All right. Okay. Now, this practice exhausts your body. It is extremely exhausting on the body. All right. As for me, I sweat. My palms sweat. The bottom of my feet sweat. I sweat profusely, like I'm actually physically fighting or something. Like I'm doing something that's intense. Okay, but I'm not moving. I'm either in a pose or I'm lying down. You might go through the same thing, but everybody has a different physical response. Okay, that's about it. Okay, that's it. That's the end of it. The end of it is when you're done. You can talk yourself out of it. Okay, mentally you can talk yourself out of it. To stop the images, bring yourself back to your body. Right here. So you're turning this off, and it's gonna take a while, right? It's like pressing the power button, but you gotta continuously press it with your mantra by telling yourself to wake up or get out of the trance, come back and start waking up, right? When you're here, it's gonna slowly come back to here, to your physical body, and it'll start to wake up slowly, all right? At this point, remember, once you're gonna come into here, the rest of your body should be numb, or you should not feel it. You should be only experiencing this now, Okay? And the way that this is supposed to feel in your body is like dots. Like you're now dots. Like again, you know that feeling when you get numb? This is what should be happening. All right? After a while, you'll no longer feel the numbness. You'll just be completely this. You won't have a body no more. Now it's just you and your subconscious or your soul speaking with the cosmos. All right. That's it. Again, I know this video is a little bit crazy. It does sound outlandish, even to me. But again, I consistently practice it to ensure that it wasn't a fluke, that it wasn't, some crazy, episodic, whatever the fuck, like a mental breakdown. But the point is sorry for the language. But the point is that this is one of those things that you might have to put into practice when it comes to taking back your life from a disease, or when you're trying to make a real change in your life and they're telling you about stuff besides the practice, okay? Besides the practice. You should always be practicing something or have a discipline in something in your life. This is a discipline. This is a practice. This is a practice to help you evolve, not only as a person, right? But heal from traumas, heal from things that you can't get a practical answer to, right? And it's funny, right? Because this thing doesn't sound practical. It doesn't even sound real. It sounds fake and made up, right? But I truly believe that that's the case. Like, again, I practiced it. I still practice it. It's just, I don't know how to explain it. But the point is that this is a thing that people should really be investing a lot of time in when they're alone. You understand? Because it really does help, and it helps over time. It's not an instantaneous thing. Your body ends up having to go through that change as well. Your mind has to go through that change. But the first place and the most for sure way of doing it is by talking to your subconscious, right? And you do that through a mantra, okay? Well, anyways, my name is Angel. This is Lupus Fitness 333, Philosophical Talks, okay? Bye-bye.